Hey, Nagasaki is where Japan met the outside world for 2 centuries, then spent another two trying to forget the worst of it. Most travelers blow through in half a day, miss the hillside neighborhoods, and wonder why nothing clicked. I mapped out the whole 3-day route into a template. So if you want it, the link's in the description. Spring means mild weather and cherry blossoms along the hills, perfect for the amount of walking the city demands. Day 1's about Nagasaki's outsider history stone staircases built for foreign traders, then the city lights from above. Minamiyamatemachi is where Western traders settled after Japan opened up steep stone lanes, old consular houses, and harbor views from every third staircase. Locals called the whole area Dutch Slope because for 2 centuries, Dutch just meant foreign. Any Westerner, any Western thing, got the label. Come in the afternoon because the light hits the harbor the right way and you'll want that glow for photos. The slopes are really your legs will notice, and most visitors skip this for paid attractions, which means you get the atmosphere without the crowds. Mount Inasa is the 333-meter hill behind the city, and the rapway dumps you at one of Japan's 3 great night views. They call it the $10 million night view. The lights spread across the harbor and hillsides in a way that actually justifies the nickname. Go up before sunset because the view transforms in real time, and the rapway queue at golden hour is its own endurance test. Even jaded travelers admit it's impressive, but check the weather first, because cloud cover turns this into an expensive ride to a fog bank. Day 2 walks through Nagasaki's Chinese and Dutch chapters, oldest Chinatown in Japan, a temple that doesn't look Japanese, and the island where Westerners lived under lock and key. Shinchi Chinatown is 4 short blocks, but historically dense. This is where Chinese merchants lived when Japan closed itself to almost everyone else. It's the oldest Chinatown in Japan and the birthplace of champon, the pork and seafood noodle soup that's now a Nagasaki staple. Get here before 11 a.m. because the lunch rush packs the narrow lanes and you'll want room to actually see the architecture. The Lantern Festival in January and February is spectacular, but you're here in spring quieter, more local. Just don't expect the lanterns. Sofuku-ji Temple is a Chinese Zen temple built in 1629. The red doors and sweeping roofs look like Ming Dynasty China, not Japan. Chinese residents built this during Japan's isolation era because they needed a place to worship far from home, and it's held that purpose for nearly 400 years. It's rarely crowded, often empty, and the contrast with Japanese temple architecture is the whole point. Photography's fine outside the main hall inside in the morning quiet makes it easy to forget you're in the middle of a Japanese city. Dejima was an artificial island, 120 by 75 meters, where Dutch traders were confined for over 2 centuries, Japan's only window to the Western world. The Dutch lived here, traded here, and couldn't leave because the shogunate wanted foreign goods without foreign influence. The restored warehouses and residences are walkable in about 2 hours spend time with the exhibits, because the story is more interesting than the buildings alone. The island isn't an island anymore. Reclamation merged it with the city, but stand at the old gate and imagine being stuck in a space smaller than a city block for years. Day 3 confronts the atomic bombing, then moves through peace and resilience from a museum to a memorial park to a cathedral that survived. The Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Museum documents August 9, 1945, when the second atomic bomb hit this city without sensationalism, just objects and stories. A stop pocket watch frozen at 11:30 a.m., shadow imprints on stone, the ordinary things that survived the impossible. Arrive when doors open at 8:30 a.m. because lines build fast, and this isn't something to rush. Take your time, use the audio guide if it helps, and plan something lighter afterward. This isn't the place to be efficient. Peace Park sits on the hill near Ground Zero. The hypocenter is marked by a black stone pillar, and the 10-meter bronze statue watches over it. The peace statue's right hand points to nuclear threat, left hand extends peace, and the fountain remembers victims who cried for water. Walk here from the museum because the transition helps, and the short distance gives you a moment to process. Paper cranes left by visitors pile up near the monuments at yours, if you want, and the open sky makes the wait feel slightly more bearable. Cathedral is a Gothic church overlooking the harbor, built in 1864, the oldest Christian church in Japan, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In 1865, hidden Christians revealed themselves here ending 250 years of secret worship after the faith was banned. The afternoon light hits the stained glass the right way, and the adjacent museum explains how Christianity survived underground. A French missionary built a Gothic cathedral on a Japanese hillside in the 1860s. The audacity is part of the story, and the view across the harbor is the payoff. Nagasaki spent centuries as Japan's gateway to the outside world, then carried one of history's heaviest burdens, and somehow the stone lanes and harbor views still feel welcoming. If you want the full route with map view and editable stops, grab the template, the link's in the description or pinned comment. Let me know which stop you're most curious about, or drop a question about spring timing in Nagasaki.